Hello team players! Welcome back to another archetype video. Today we're talking about the Archaeologists. If you're really into character optimization, especially for combat, this is not the archetype for you. This is our first archetype that's focused more on roleplay than anything else. Any class can take this as long as they're trained in society and theory, but it's especially good for rogues, wizards, and maybe even rangers. But let's get into what this archetype actually gives you. Nothing too fancy for our dedication. We become an expert in society and theory because we're an archaeologist. We need to know about society for what we're studying, and basically everything in a museum is stolen. Plus there's a whole getting past traps that these ancient people put out there to protect their stuff. At level 4 we can take Magical Scholastics, which basically gives us a bunch of spells that have no combat advantage, but do let us sniff out relics for our museum. We get Detect Magic, Read Aura, and Guidance, even if we're not a spellcaster, which I think is pretty cool. Also at level 4, we have Settlement Scholastics, which gives us an extra lore skill and an extra language. Because in real life, if you were studying Roman culture, wouldn't you be able to rattle off facts more easily about that culture? Plus, it'd be kind of dumb if you couldn't speak Latin. And then we have Trap Finder, which makes it easier for us to find and avoid traps. We can also find traps even if we're not searching. In addition, we can disable traps that would normally be completely out of our league. This is a great feat that is usually only available to rogues and investigators. At level 7, we can take the skill feat, Scholastic Identification. Now we can use Society to decipher any writing we come across, which will be very handy when we're examining those artifacts. This also works with Identified Magic when we're talking about a magic item or location with a cultural significance. At level 8, we can take Archaeologist Luck. When we fail on a reflex save against a trap, or to disable the trap, we get to re-roll it and take the new results. But we can only do that once per hour. This is where we get to become Indiana Jones. Or, if you fancy, Lara Croft. Delay trap is exactly what it sounds like. You delay a trap. This is basically the Indiana Jones sandbag trick, except you can only use it when a trap is actually triggered. Very handy to have. And the final feat for the Archaeologist is Greater Magical Scholastics, which gives us more spells to help with relics. With Augury, you can pick up a relic or something, and basically, instead of the GM asking, "Are you sure you want to do that?" you as the player can be like, before you even do anything, do I want to do that? It's a very vague sense, and you don't get why that would be good or bad, but any information is better than no information. I think it's pretty obvious what Locate does, and Veil of Privacy is for putting your relics in a vault so nobody can get to them. It's that maximum security vault. You attempt to counteract magical detection effects against the item in question, but only items, not people, like the normal version of the spell. And that's the Archaeologist archetype done. Even though this isn't a combat-focused archetype, it can be really fun to pull this off. If you can roleplay this effectively, it's great. If you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave a like. And subscribe to the channel for more Pathfinder 2e teamwork content. You can also talk about the Archaeologist archetype in the comments below. If you want a path builder for any of my builds, you can join my Patreon page. And if you have questions about your archetypes, or you just want help with your build, my Discord is where you want to be. I'm starting to be pretty active on there. Links to both of those are in the description below. And right here, there's a video that YouTube thinks you'll like. So remember guys, teamwork is vital. It helps us solve problems.